Hey guys, welcome to DevOps School. In this video tutorial, we are going to teach you about Jenkins, which is a very popular continuous integration tool. After going through this tutorial, I promise you that the concept and understanding of the Jenkins will be absolutely clear to you. But before that, let me ask you a few things. Are you dreaming of a career with higher pay and more responsibilities? Or are you ready to take your skills to the next level this year? Then start investing in DevOps School certification level courses which will help you to emerge skills for a wide range of entry level roles and as well as higher potential future positions. But with thousands of courses online and in classroom worldwide, finding the right one for your career goals can be difficult. You can consider our courses like Agile Developer, Agile QA, DevOps Certified Professionals, Site Reliability Engineering, DevSecOps, and Masters in DevOps Engineering, where you will have access to well-structured, easy-to-follow course content that has been developed and will be delivered by industry professionals. You can join on our training programs globally through online platforms, and if you are looking for classroom workshops, then we have regular sessions available in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Mumbai, and in Pune. Simply compare our many courses, find the one that suits your style and schedule best, and start today.
So when each step is getting executed, right? Okay, this guy is going to get the dependency library specific to Maven. Okay, we did not run the compile, I mean, package before, right? So the package, the package itself required a lot of dependency libraries. So it will go ahead and get that for Maven. Okay, and then any project specific that will go ahead and get it, and then it will try to use all the packages and created our jar file. Okay, in previous case the jar file was not created because we did not use that step to build the package. So now the package is there. So now what you need to do, once you have the package and you deploy to the Nexus and then deploy to the dev. Okay, let's create a simple okay, you package and deploy. Next, new item, deploy to dev. Okay, copy from p package. Okay, this is okay. So this as part of this, right? So how you deploy to the okay, how you deploy to the dev environments are staging. So okay, let's talk about deployment, guys, before going to that. So usually we use for deployments, right? In traditional way, we use either okay, some shell script. Most of the cases in past, people use the shell script to get the package from Nexus or Artifactory. Okay, once the package is built, so right, once the package is get built, war file or AR file, that will be pushed to the Artifactory repository management system called Nexus or Artifactory, JFrog Artifactory. So from that, so the release team or DevOps team, whatever the team is called, okay, so they get the artifact from Nexus or Artifactory using shell script, duplicate command or whatever command, and then deploy to the different environments like dev, QA, SCPT, and prod. So nowadays people started using Ansible, that is well-known application deployment and infrastructure management tool. So and also Puppet, you can use Puppet to okay, deploy the application to the, and also Chef. So these are the tools which will help us to in terms of automating the deployment process too. So you can okay, you can use Ansible, okay, Ansible playbook command to here to deploy to the dev. Okay, okay. So for example, minus host, okay, dev deploy.yaml file. So this is how okay, this is how the playbook is going to look like. So this is not a part of our scope, so I'm going to just show you in a demo, just an example. I'm going to save it as comment and then run with it. Okay, now once the deployment to dev is done, what else? Deployment to acceptance, that is the final. Okay, p okay, deploy to ACPT. Okay, and that is going to be copied from deploy to dev. Okay, then let's same thing. So this one is you are going to use the playbook called ACPT deploy job. Okay, that's it. So save it and copy it. So for now, let's quickly go back and uh, let's quickly go back and do the remaining pipeline stages. Okay, after p-run test, okay, configure. Guys, I'm going to speed up a little bit because we are going to run out of time if I go this phase. Okay, so if you don't follow me, please ask, raise your hand and ask your question. Okay, so for this, once that is done, build other projects. Okay, that is going to be p package. Oh, sorry. Okay, perfect. That's good. Okay, and let's go to package. Okay, and then the job is p dev deploy. Okay, that's the dev deploy. Okay, don't worry about the naming convention for now. Dev deploy, and then under the dev deploy to acceptance. Perfect. Now let's go back here. Okay, very quick. Let's look at the CI pipeline, how it looks like now. Here you go, the beautiful pipeline. So here you go. So you have build, compile the code, run the test cases, and package it, and then deploy to dev. Let's run it again. Okay, let it go. So it will go to all these pages. Okay, and I wanna show a few more things. Okay, so as part of a quick feedback, right? So what you have to do is now for any job, okay, you can go and configure, and you can let. Come on, let's go. So I'll quickly go through the job specific parameters here again. So okay, so okay, before that, very quick. I'm going to quick look at metadata again of the job. So the discard builds. So if you're running every day at okay, every day 2 minutes or 3 minutes, right? So on daily basis you're going to end up running like 500-600 builds, so that is going to eat up disk space and all this stuff. So you don't want to keep all these builds, okay, on the disk, so you need to clean it up. Okay, because anyway your code is going to be in your GitHub. Okay, you don't need to worry about it. This is Jenkins is just a broker which is doing what you have been told to do. So nothing important things is going to store on the Jenkins. So your project artifacts is going to be under in Nexus or Artifactory, and then your deployment playbooks again going to be in Git. Okay, don't need to worry about anything. Just wipe it out. If it is not really required, wipe it out. If it is too required, you can keep like, okay, 100 builds a day, or okay, number of days to keep, okay, 5. Okay, and then the another one is a very important feature is this project is parameterized. So sometimes you need to pass the some environment, some variables to the job. For example, the branch is specific. So for example, if you want to send the branch, right, so what you need to do is you need to give as, okay, the branch name. You want to pass this the branch dynamically. You don't want to okay, the default value is going to be master, and then come here and then you can replace with, okay, this is how you mention the build job by using parameters. Okay, that is what this is all about. So most of the cases you end up parameterizing your job according to your job requirement, like versioning. Okay, you are gonna add version to, okay, so what version of the okay, let's so what version of the job you want to run, so you end up putting the version and stuff too. Okay, and execute the concurrent builds if necessary. So if this build, okay, for example, you enable the poll SCM, so two developers okay, kick it off the job at the same time. So do you want to stop them, or do you want to, oh, it's okay to, what you by default what Jenkins does is it will put in the queue, but if you want to override that feature, you can use these parameters. Okay, you can say that, okay, just execute how many you want. Okay, if it is doesn't conflict with this environment. Okay, so these are the important parameters. Okay, so and then I think we already discussed about that. This is the source code where you can mention whatever the source code management you are going to use. Git subversion. So if you want to use more, you need to go in and install the plugins like Perforce, TFS, or whatever it is, and then that will show up here. Okay, and then trigger the builds. As I think I already covered this one. Okay, anyway, this is very important for Jenkins. You mostly use this one or GitHub webhook trigger. So whenever some changes happen to that GitHub or pull request has been created, this has been used. And this one, so if you want to kick off the job from some different third-party tool, or if you want to run it from your CLI, you can enable this, and then that will automatically do that. So build after other project. If you want to get this build done, okay, whenever the project build. So this is pretty much a similar feature to this. Okay, build other projects. Okay, you can use, if you want to get this build automatically from other project instead of downstream, you can make it as okay, upstream project. Okay, that is the case. Okay, and more a little bit more. So in advanced section, you can okay. I think I missed this part. Okay, so you can restrict where the job can be run on. Okay, if you have master slave, you can restrict the project. Where is that section? Because once I create the build nodes, that will show up here. But anyway, for now, let's move on. And then build environment. I think there are multiple okay, build environment tools. So yeah, Ant, Gradle, Shell. So if you want to use Ansible, Puppet, you can go ahead and install it. I'll go through that one later in a minute. Okay, and then post build actions. Okay, this is what I want to tell. Okay, so if something goes wrong, right, so you need to send email to all these people. Hey Guru, okay, guru.devopsschool.com, and some anwar.devops.com, devopsschools.com. So this is what it does. So as this process, right, so let's go back to what is CI. CI is all about automating your build, test, and deploying your code automatically, and send the feedback to the team. Okay, so that people can if any issues they can fix it. Okay, or if it is successful, they can gain the trust and move forward to the different environments. Okay, so that is what CA is all about. So we how we can achieve that? This is the way. Okay, I hope you got what is CA and how to send the quick feedback when something fails. Here you go. So in this any of this process, if something fails or breaks, it will gonna send the quick feedback to quick feedback to the developers based on the communication you mentioned there. Okay, so any questions, guys, so far?
Yeah, I have two questions.
Go ahead.
One is the first one is like you are running your master slave on the same machine here, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So master just initiates the execution, but the actual execution always happens on the slave, right?
No, in this case, so I did not create the slave yet, so everything is done by master.
Okay. And the second question is, let's say suppose I'm just looking at the pipeline stage, the pipeline 3. That's like after run test, then we like deploy the code. Sorry, we package, then we deploy the code.
That's
So
correct.
in the Maven life cycle, like let's say suppose I do package. Basically, package does the all the first steps up to test and then runs package, right?
That's it, creates the war file or jar file or AR file, whatever it is.
Uh, but but it will eventually run, validate, compile, test, and then it will come to package, right?
Yeah, everything. So when you run this
So
command, it will run all the steps.
so basically, did we not execute test twice? Like once in the
Yeah, of
test.
course. Yeah, yeah. That was demo. That's just yes. So technically, you can do all the steps in one job. So that is one. That is for your the
No,
total pipeline.
my question was like, let's say suppose if I have to set up a pipeline for Maven, like for Maven command, then how do I avoid running test twice? Like
Okay.
I want to have test stage and I want to have package stage. So in package stage, how do I avoid test? Because it
Okay.
is
So
already
what you
running.
can do is you can configure all this stuff in one job as a build job. So on the first job itself, you can put Maven package. So that and then that will take care of everything.
But then in that case, I'll have only one stage, right? Only
One
Maven
stage,
pack.
yeah, one stage, yeah, in the as part of the build, that will cover everything. So even you can create another jobs saying that, yeah, I mean, more or less, yes. Yes, if you want to do that way, you end up in one job. So and you have to in pipeline view it will show as one step, and you have to explain to the team saying that okay, as part of the build test. So if you go to the sure test results, it will show the test results.
But is it not possible to have like stages like this, but still run test only in the test stage, but not, I mean, don't run test in the package stage?
There is,
Because,
okay, there is. So that comes under pipeline okay, Jenkins 2.0 pipeline as a code Jenkins
oh,
file
okay, okay,
that
got it.
will come as part of okay. So that will come as part of advanced training. I think if you go here, right, let me
Mhm.
show you that. Okay, so that's a very good question actually. I can cover. So this is how the life cycle is going to be. So as part of the build, it will just get the build. Okay, so here it will run only once. So it will go through the step by step in and it will show all the stages. It will run once. It will show all the stages. Okay,
Okay, okay.
that will cover as part of the issue. I mean, the whatever the question you are asking, that is covered by Jenkins file concept. But moreover, you can just say usually build package. Okay, okay, build, deploy, run the okay, and then deploy to dev, deploy to accept. That's how the life cycle of typical life cycle of pipeline. Why this one is just I want you to guys to get an idea. You can put all these steps, and also assume some cases you want to run the compile only, right? So you can always kick up the job itself. Okay, and also sometimes if you want to run the test cases, you can only click up the job. Okay, okay. Any other questions, guys? Because we're running out of time, so I'll go through the other questions, and then otherwise I'll go through the Jenkins administration part. Uh, uh, I think Sonar Cube, I think you guys already know. Oh, let me quickly go through what is Sonar Cube. Sonar Cube, what does it does is it's it will analyze your code, okay, and it will find the duplicate. Okay, it will find the duplicate code, and bug fixes. Okay, and it will give you report on okay, security vulnerable, okay, finding vulnerabilities, and test results report. That is called static. Okay. Okay, so I think we will not have time to install the SonarQube integration, but if you want, how you do that is very simple. Let me quickly show you how to do that. Okay, for that, let's close all this. Okay, so now assume you have to install the SonarQube. I mean, you have to generate the SonarQube test results. So what you have to do is first you have to install the SonarQube plugin. Okay, so again, let me go a little bit advanced here. So this is how the plugin manager looks like in Jenkins. Okay, in most of the cases, you have to go to the advanced section and you need to configure your company proxies, because by default Jenkins cannot talk to the internet. So make sure that you guys are aware of this one. So you need to specify the server and then all this stuff. And if you got the HPI file, that is the Jenkins plugin extensions, so you can always download it from internet. Okay, and then you can choose it here, and then you can upload it to the here, so it will also install it for you. In our case now, we have a connection to the internet, so I don't need to do all this stuff. So I'll just go ahead and look for the SonarQube. So for SonarQube, so I needed two plugins. Okay, one is SonarQube server, and another one is SonarQube scanner, which actually go through the reports. Okay. Can you please go on mute, guys? Someone. I think Sonar might have been installed already. Okay, let's take a look at later. Okay, but anyway, so this is how you install the SonarQube. Okay, go back to the page. Let's go to manage Jenkins. Okay, okay. So this is, so there are two things. So whatever, okay. So you have to configure in terms of server specific. You have to come to this configure system. So for example, so GitHub, or if you want to have set globally some global properties like environment variables or some tool locations. Okay, or if you want to set SonarQube server. Okay, so you need to set SonarQube server. Okay, it's going to be localhost slash 9000. Okay, your SonarQube is going to run there, and okay. Okay, so this is the name of the SonarQube server. So you need to mention your SonarQube server here, and then you need to get an authentication token, and you need to configure this here. Okay, and then so now you know where is your SonarQube server, and in your SonarQube job configuration, so you can just point to this server. Okay, hey. Send the reports to this server, so then everything will be sent it over to there. Okay, and then not only that, if you want to change the Jenkins specific URL, okay, later in the stage you can use that. And if you want to integrate your GitHub projects with the okay, GitHub with Jenkins, so you can configure your GitHub enterprise okay, GitHub with Jenkins. So you need to do integrations. Okay, all this stuff. Okay, and then there is a section called, I think we already gone through that. Let me go through that again, because that's very important. So there is a section called configuring tools, like, okay, let me go back again. Okay, sorry, come on.
Please enroll for our channel membership 399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Okay, configuring tools, right? So assume so in most of the cases, right, you end up installing the tools on the server. So you can also tell Jenkins to do that job for you. So you need to install different JDK versions, okay, and you need to install different, I mean, you need to install Git, you need to install SVN. So and whenever the plugins install, so this section is going to show up saying that, okay, you know what, so I can do the job for you regarding the tools. You just tell me what to do. So you can come here, what is the Docker need to be installed. So if you want to Ansible, right, you can use Ansible, which version of Ansible you want me to install for you, or if something else, right, if it is the TFS, what version of TFS you want me to install. So this is section is all about okay, the tools configuration. Okay, so if you already installed on the server, you can always do that. Okay, the next thing is okay, uh, managing the users in the Jenkins. Okay, now if I go here, right, so this is the section. So this is all the administration section, guys. So if you want to manage the Jenkins, this is very important place. You need to thoroughly know about it if you are a Jenkins admin. So if you go to the configure global security, okay, uh, most of the cases in a real time, okay, in enterprise organizations, most of the people use LDAP or okay, LDAP or Active Directory. So that is okay, available. So you need to configure LDAP server or something and specific to organization. And also there are two types of authorization. So at this moment, whoever log into the Jenkins, you are allowing them to do anything. But this time we are going to use either a project based matrix, I mean the matrix based security. So and then our project based security. So if you're using the folder structure and stuff, try to use the project based matrix authorization strategy. That is more efficient than matrix. But if you're overall managing the Jenkins, and you have the Active Directory groups, and you can manage what to do. So these are the overall view at their access levels. So you can restrict at overall Jenkins to the read. Okay, people from who can without logging in, they can just view the all this stuff. Okay, and then in terms of credentials, they cannot. I mean, they don't need to view. Okay, they can view the agents. Okay, they can build on the agents, and they can just where is that, read the jobs, and they can read the jobs again. Okay, and then authenticated users, let's put like some XYZ guy. Okay, okay, let's add the user, for example, like some test user, right? So like let's put like Satya. Okay, so you can say what this guy can do. Okay, so this guy is not there, so that time he market is out. But once he registered himself, he can okay, he can have any access. So for this guy, I'm not gonna give him administrator access. I'm gonna delete the delete options for him, so that by mistake he won't delete any of my jobs. Okay, that's how you configure the credentials. That's how you add the people. So usually if you use LDAP or something, you need to click on add user group. That will allow them to, okay, add that. Okay, next thing is, okay, any other things? Okay, okay, let's go back to another concept. Okay, now we went through managing users, right? What else we need to discuss? Okay, we went through how to configure the tools. We went through we are going to Jenkins administration, manage users. Okay, backup Jenkins. Okay, uh, let's look at what is backup. How do you backup the Jenkins? So when you're running in the enterprise, right, so you cannot leave this node itself, so you need to back it up. So for that, there are a couple of plugins available. So if you go to again, I told you, right, everything is in the form of plugins. You just need to find the right plugin and then install it and configure it. Okay, so there are two plugins. One is Thin Backup, very popular one. Okay, and then uh, Periodic Backup plugin. So what this plugins does is it will help you to back up your complete Jenkins system. Okay, Thin Backup. Okay, let's type. Okay, come on. Okay, here you go. Thin Backup. and periodic backup. These are the two plugins. Okay, and the beauty of the Jenkins is, okay, very simple, guys. If you want to migrate one server from another server, as long as you copy varlib Jenkins home, okay, and restart the service, that's it. So you forget about thin backup and periodic backup. So if you got the backup of this home folder in zip format somewhere, so because this is a flat file system, so everything is stored in XML files. You just get that get that folder and copy copy to the new server. Okay, that's it, and restart the service. Your whole new Jenkins will be having the old configuration and the plugins and then everything. So whatever it is part of the home directory, that will be there. So let's quickly go back to Jenkins. Let's quickly configure the thin backup plugin. Okay, it takes a 1 minute job. Let's, because that's very important as part of Jenkins admin day-to-day tasks. Okay, here you go. You got the thin backup here. Okay, as part of thin backup. Okay, just go to settings. Okay, so backup directory is going to be /temp. Okay, you can give whatever the directory you want. Okay, a backup schedule for jobs. So you need to run the cron job. Let's put a star by every 2 minutes. Run the job. Okay, okay. For now, 5 stars. So everything. So when you guys remember one thing, so the scheduling stuff is in the cron format, cron tab. If you don't know what is cron tab, look at cron tab format. That is the way you schedule the things in Linux. Okay, Linux type of Linux way. So you need to use 5 stars. So first is I mean minute, and then hour, and then day, and then month, and then week. Okay, so that is how. Okay, and backup schedule differential backup this schedule for differential backups. That's don't need to worry about that. So files excluded from the Jenkins, so you can exclude the logs and build folder and workspace folder, but for now let's leave that. So that's it, save it. Okay, now let's take a backup now to see how it works. So if you want to restore, you see there is a backup available. Okay, if you want to restore, you can use the restore plugin, and then that's how you create the that's how you can create the backup and restore from the backup. So on the new Jenkins 2, right? So if you copy all these thin backup files, okay, and if you put it under that section, so the /temp location, that will also be available to this collection usually. So what happens is we install the thin backup, and thin backup is going to take care of the backup Jenkins, and these Jenkins archives, they are going to be stored in S3, and whenever something goes wrong with complete Jenkins, we'll fetch from S3, AWS S3 or Google Cloud Storage. We'll fetch from there and then reinstall the old Jenkins. Okay, now and the final very important topic is the distributed, okay, Jenkins master slave mechanism. Okay, this is very important, guys. Okay, so as project grows, the number of projects get onboarded to the Jenkins. Okay, and the workload is going to be heavy, the resources and stuff. How do you configure? Okay, very simple. So assume today you have 2 projects. Okay, one Jenkins server is enough, but if you have 10 projects, you cannot you cannot hold the load accordingly, because that throws a lot of issues in terms of how server performs. It slows down sometimes, get the server down because of high CPU utilization, number of threads is more. So what you need to do is you need to add a new node. Okay, let's add a new node. So for that, so from master to slave, you need to have passwordless config. Okay, so for that, let's generate keygen -t. RSA. So in order to master slave mechanism works, the basic thing is you need to enable the passwordless authentication, okay, or you need to input username and password to log in. But for now, let's see. Let's go ahead and set up passwordless for now. ID dot ssh ID underscore RSA dot public key. Okay, let's go back to sessions. I think I got one Jenkins slave node. Let me look it up. There it is. So okay, VI perfect. So this is how you configure the passwordless. If you don't know, please go ahead and refer how to configure passwordless on YouTube. That will tell you. So let's look at if we have access. Okay, this is the IP. Let's go back forward to Java Jenkins master. Let's make sure that we have access. Here you go. I logged into Jenkins slave. So now literally we can use this node, use this server as Jenkins slave. Okay. Okay, Jenkins slave 01. This is permanent node, and here you go. Okay, and also again, guys, this is also require Java because the client also uses Java utility. So the remote directory is going to be. Let's make a one directory. Okay, Jenkins slave home. Okay, just for your reference. So what is the server name? Is going to be this. So the slave is going to be, let's put as a slaves. Okay, the label is going to be slaves. Credential is none. So you can use okay. Okay, that's it. Let's see if that comes up. You know what? I need to add the credentials very quickly, guys, because I'm sorry, my bad. Okay, let's add the credentials. Because it requires private key to authenticate, right? Forgot that concept. Okay, so you need to add the private key. Okay, private key is going to be so the username is going to be root, and the private key is going to be this server private key. Okay. Okay, now let's go back to the manage nodes again. Okay. Now you can use these credentials and then save it. Now it should work. Perfect. Hope it will work. Okay. Let's make sure that Java is installed on this slave. Okay, perfect. That is there. Huh.
Is it because in the private key that you copied, there are some extra characters at the top and bottom?
Was it? Okay, let's see. It should work. Actually, this should be very straightforward. Otherwise, something wrong with my server. Here you go. It worked. Yeah, perfect. What? Let me see if Java is running. PS minus, sorry, Jenkins is running. Ooh. Okay, so let me, okay, give me 1 second. Let me use another server, guys. Okay, give me, because some that's why I don't go with my old servers, because sometimes I messed up with that. So let me quickly go to the other server, because this is, I'm sorry for that. Okay, because I don't have time to create a new server, so I'm gonna go with the other servers. Okay, I'm remove Jenkins minus y. Okay, make sure that I don't wanna conflict with Mart server, and okay. So what you were saying, because that's not right, because it is going to the Jenkins. You saw that it is able to SSH into the server. Okay. Now after
Right.
SSH into the server, it is now having issues with um, launching agent. Okay, something even different. So even I can't. I have to look it up, because it's, that node is broken. It's been a long time. I haven't used that node. I tried to use it, but since it didn't work this time. Okay, let's quick look at this guy. If this guy doesn't work, we'll create a new one. Otherwise, that's okay. You guys can try always. This is not rocket science. This is very simple concept. Okay. Uh, I hope I'm not doing any mistake here. Okay, I copied this guy. Okay, perfect. Now IP ADR. This guy is going to be this one. Let's see if that. Oh, you know what? This is magic, man. Ha! It worked. Okay, so even we don't need to do that. Maybe that's some error. Okay, okay, it worked. So you should be straightforward, right? It worked, right? Okay. Now if you look at log, maybe that thrown an error based on okay, based on something, but it worked. Okay, that's how you add the nodes. Okay, we don't need to worry about other one. Okay, so and now what you can do is, so if you go back to your jobs, okay, now you can tell, okay, you know what, hey, don't run the job on master, because there are already too many jobs. Okay, you can restrict where this job can run on. Okay, now if we go ahead and look at it, if we go to Jenkins configuration, Okay, now as we enabled master slave mechanism, now there is an option called restrict where this project can be run, because we have multiple options right now. So this is called distributed, man. So whenever the workload getting more, so you can always add Jenkins slaves to the master so that it can distribute the work. So what master does here, master mostly take care of the configuration and scheduling stuff, and the slaves, those are the who is the actual workers who does the build and whatever the deployment job. Okay, so those are the actual work caretakers. Okay, now this case I'm going to use slaves. Okay, now so make sure that the tools are also installed. If it's not installed, it will throw an error, but hopefully git is there, because that I have used it in past, so it should be fine. So if you go ahead and look at, let's see what is that. Okay, some issue. Okay, so anyway, so this is where it built it. So it went to here and then it checked out the code and it failed. So why it failed? Let's see. Okay, it should not fail technically. It should be straightforward. Let's see if git is there. Okay, let's.
You might have, you have given some variables. Might be you can check in.
Oh, yeah, here you go. Yeah, you were right, man. You were right. So yeah, in the previously when I'm demoing, I was made the job as parameterized. Shit.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Sorry. Thanks for that. Okay. So this one. Okay. So this is master branch. Cool. So let's go ahead and build it again. So you see now the job is built on slave 01. Okay. That's all for today, guys. Okay, unless until if you have guys any questions, please let me know now. Otherwise, I will wrap it up for today. Tell me any questions. I would be more happy to answer it. And also, please give your feedback. Okay, that is very important for me. If you like it, please give the rating as well. Okay, so if you have any feedback, please leave it as well. Okay, any questions, guys?
Hello, Guru.
Hey, one by one. I can't hear you.
Can I have this video?
It's not clear, guys. Can you please explain me again? Can you speak again?
I think he's asking, can you upload this video or demo in the DevOps
I will. After this session, I will share this one with the DevOps School guy. So he's gonna upload it to the DevOpsSchool.com YouTube videos, and then he's gonna share with you guys. So any other question?
If I want to see any tutorial in
one by one, guys. Okay, go ahead. You go ahead.
If I want to see any tutorial, basic tutorial in YouTube, do you recommend any video in YouTube?
No, this is the one. And if you want more, know about more things, please, subscribe for advanced course that will cover this one along with advanced topics like continuous delivery and Jenkins file. Okay, any other questions? Go ahead. Any other question?
Yeah, Guru. Again, I'm the same. When can I confirm this video available? Because today's session was very good, and it's around 4 hours session, so I need to repeat it. So please confirm on the group, the WhatsApp group, that once it is available, so that we can again go through that.
Sure. I will by tomorrow morning. You guys will have this recorded tutorial. So, any other questions, guys?
That's all from my side, Guru. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay. Thank you for everyone for joining this class. Please, okay, give your feedback. That is very valuable to me. Okay. However, okay. Thank you very much. So let's Have a nice day, guys.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the Jenkins session so far, please enroll for our channel membership. $3.99 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $3.99 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.